Pterophyta can be traced back to the Carboniferous era, which was about 359 million years ago. Pterophyta at the time would grow 30 to 40 feet tall. These vascular plants had a tree-like trunk with fronds at the top. During the Carboniferous era, Pterophyta was a dominant plant group. In present day, they inhabit tropical humid environments, or are common house plants. Pterophyta does not grow as tall as it used to. Pterophyta has over 9,000 different species of ferns. Pterophyta fossils are fossil fuels that help in the production of heat, oil, or coal. Fossil fuels are non-renewable sources of energy, since it takes millions of years to create a fossil.
The diploid sporophyte is the dominant phase of the life cycle. It is a long-lived green plant that we see on a daily basis. On the underside of some fronds are clusters of spore-producing sori. Here, haploid spores are produced by meiosis. In temperate zones, spores tend to be released in the fall. The spores germinate and develop into small haploid gametophytes. Egg-producing and sperm-producing structures, the archegonia and the antheridia, form on the underside of the gametophyte. In the presence of water, sperms swim to the eggs, fertilization occurs, and diploid zygotes are formed. The zygote develops into a sporophyte, which at first depends upon the gametophyte, but when mature is rooted in the soil and independent.
Yes, pterophytes do have true leaves, stems, and roots. In this picture, we can see the roots underneath the rhizome. We can also see the stem and leaves throughout the fern. The roots are the parts of the plant that anchor it to the ground. If the roots were non-existent, the rhizome would not be able to receive water or nutrients which help it grow. While researching the interesting world of ferns, I learned that in some cultures, the leaves of the ferns are edible. They can be used in salads and many other culinary purposes. Also, the male roots of certain ferns are used for antiparasitic treatments. The oils of the roots work as cleansers for the intestinal organs from harmful organisms. They are used by veterinarians and doctors in the form of liquid extract, powder, and pill form.
Ferns reproduce from spores that are found on the underside of the frond. Spores are produced in capsules called sporangia. These sporangia are combined into small clusters called sori, which can be oval, round, or oblong. In most cases, the sporangia are protected by a thin flap called the indusium. The indusium releases mature spores into the air in a catapult-like action. Since spores are very lightweight, they travel away from the plant through the air after they are released from the indusium. A fern does not grow directly from a spore, but rather germinates when it lands in an area that has sufficient moisture and light.
Pterophyta does not produce flowers. Instead of flowers, Pterophyta produce a mature sporophyte, or frond, which is anchored by rhizoids and adventitious roots. A diploid sporophyte quickly develops into a juvenile stage of a frond, called a fiddlehead, and then a frond. The frond consists of several pairs of leaflets, which contain the sporangium.
Ferns come in all different shapes and sizes. The smallest ferns can be less than 1 inch. The mosquito fern, for example, grows only up to 1.5 inches long and spreads so much as 1.5 inches thick. There are also tree-sized ferns, such as the Australian tree fern and the Hawaiian tree fern. These can reach heights of 15 feet tall to even 30 feet tall. Ferns that are commonly used in landscapes are the lady fern and the river fern. These can range from 1 foot tall to even 4 feet tall. And lastly, there are climbing ferns, such as the Japanese climbing fern and the Old World climbing fern. Both of these ferns can grow over 90 feet long and have fronds up to 9 feet long. These ferns are considered highly invasive.